Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Saturday Night Wrestlemainiacs, brought to you this week by the Tuesday Night Flight, as you can see running that intro over there to my left and or right, depending on which way you're directioned. You got myself, the People's Choice, Don Rodriguez, the big guy, KG, the Nubian Sumo is out on big hating on my dancing girls assignments. I'm being politically correct only because my boy, John Cena, is hosting Shark Week. So happy end or last day of Shark Week 2024. KG, how's it going, man?
Oh, I'm feeling good, man. As you can see from my background, I try to get a new background every week.
Hey, man, that's a BBL background, isn't it?
Well, you know what they say.
Yes. Get it.
Now that's BBL Bailey. That's what they say. But hey,
Go from a little bit of in airplane mode over to BBL Bailey. So obviously, I think you have figured out what type of show this is going to be.
Oh, it's in the title, baby. It's in the title. It's
That's
Unhinged.
Right. We crazy. And we're going to get it off, pun intended, with the first crazy assignment. We've been charged with talking about Survivor Series. I know it's nowhere close, but with Survivor Series allegedly coming from Los Angeles, California, and Survivor Series is starting to become synonymous with War Games, that's kind of a certain faction that may be able to satisfy War Games, the match beyond. And we've been talking about it for the past couple of weeks, the Bloodline. So we just saw on SmackDown how they're really pushing and putting over Jacob Fatu. We've got everything that's going on. Both Usos are cleared and capable of becoming a tag team again. Heavy signs are pointing towards Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Paul Heyman coming back at SummerSlam. We're still waiting on Zilla Fatu. We're still waiting on Hikuleo. That already signed. They're just, long-term storybook and waiting to put them in. But War Games, Bloodline Edition, may arguably be the best War Games opportunity that we've had since the Four Horsemen versus WCW. You tell me. But as much as I don't want to work in my line of work in retail, think about November. Woo! I don't want it to hurry the hell up.
Well, yeah. And here's the thing. The last really, really good War Games that I remember right off the top of my head, what was that? That was about 4 or 5 years ago, where they had the 2 ring set up. It was Velveteen Dream and a couple of other people. I can't remember everybody that was in the match. And it was in New York.
Against Undisputed Era?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it was. That was a really good one. They were inside the cage with the 2 rings. And I think, as we talk about ideas, you just go back from the past and you bring something to the future. You take the Dusty concept, because he is the inventor of War Games.
The match beyond.
That's what you do. You do 3 stages of hell.
You want to go there with it?
Yeah.
That's a little scary.
Climb your way up, and with the technology that we have now, you could take that and turn it on its ear. And like when they talk about Dusty, and everybody talks about his influence, that's the part that gets overlooked. Him as being a booker and a creator. These things get overlooked. They have to be said. They have to be shown. Just being honest here.
I do want to say something, though. And it has absolutely nothing to do with War Games. But every time I watch this video for Tuesday Night Flight, I think that is the calmest airport I have seen in quite some time. Y'all are really relaxing on that show. I'm just telling you. Look at that. Everybody's moving around. Even the people later is not that busy on speed up. Everybody's able to just, take off and land as they choose. Thank you.
Hey,
Sideline Junkies bringing it to them on Tuesday nights, making sure everybody's flight leaves on time, arrives on time, and maybe a splash of soul plane in there.
well,
Is Snoop the pilot? Just let me know. Captain Mac, was it Captain Mac, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I hope not.
You can have Godfrey as the co-pilot. That'd be funny.
He was hilarious. Godfrey hilarious in everything he does.
He is, man. And then him, his impressions. I mean, he's spot on. Definitely, I guess if you want to call him underrated, underrated performer. But shout out to comedian. Shout out to Godfrey. But back to wrestling because we get off and start talking about some things. But what else would you like to see culminate in Survivor Series? Because we know once we get to Survivor Series, we're starting to turn that corner and enter the road to WrestleMania. Because at that point, we're thinking about Royal Rumble. We're starting in our podcast world. We start thinking about who would we like to see show up in the men's and women's Royal Rumble. How would we like it to be structured? What's the roadmap looking like for WrestleMania? But is there any other, super opportunity you would like to see in Survivor Series since we're talking down the road booking? What's your thoughts on, either on the men's side, women's side, tag teams, something to really kick things up a notch as we lead into Raw on Netflix. And that's going to be a major point of contention going forward is what's building up to Raw on Netflix.
You got to do men's and women's Survivor Series. That's 2 matches right there.
Mm-hmm.
I think with this, you got it. And that's traditional 4-on-4, 5-on-5, however you want to do it. But you got to throw a good. You're gonna do war games. You got to go throw a good cage match. And I was watching Dr. Death Steve Williams versus Terry Bam Bam Gordy earlier.
What you know about that?
Dr. Death picked Bam Bam up and just start slamming him against the top of the cage. You got to get something like that. That's a moment you have to have.
Jesus, that man was just raw power. He was a killer up until he got destroyed on Brawl for it all. But
yeah, and that took
killed his career. Killed his career. You can't be called Dr. Death if you just got knocked out.
But and the thing is, he was a real live tough man.
Mm-hmm.
That was set up for him to go into the stratosphere. But I digress.
Yeah, but they learned from that, I will say, because these Raw Underground matches and stuff like that, as much as we would like them not to be scripted, they are scripted now because you do not want to leave anything to chance because you can't be the submission magician and Shayna Baszler and get boop, boop, 2 pieces and a biscuit done. Like, well, that just ended that match. So, or anybody else. So Matt Riddle walking in there talking some trash. I'd say the only person that probably could still back it up would be Brock Lesnar. He just, wants to knock people out.
Well,
and it's just a hoss in himself.
As long as Brock Lesnar stays off his back, well, he can't ground fight, but after what he did to Braun Strowman, when Braun Strowman got a little too familiar, and he gave him a good 2-piece, told him calm down. Yeah, I think Brock would be your guy.
I'm with you on that. So we want to change gears a little bit because as much as we like talking about the future, let's talk about the present. And I mean this in future tense. We're still dealing with the aftermath of WrestleMania. Yes, Cody has finished his story, the first half of his story. He's become champion. The fans did it. They accomplished something. They changed the world. They changed the face of sports entertainment. When it comes down to who should be the champion, who should have main event at WrestleMania, all that stuff. We did it. But now we have this documentary. And if you haven't seen Meme Gate on The Rock and what term could we call this? Because some people would say he's coming off as a douche. Some people are saying that, The Rock is just nepotism at his finest. But, I'm the reason why. I made the phone call. I made the decision, blah, blah, blah. We've seen the memes, but that has still got The Rock in negative light. Now, we know folks are going to pop for The Rock if he shows back up. That's a given. We're fans. But can The Rock come back as The Rock, the people's champion at its purest, while we're, this documentary is that WWE is just putting out on YouTube for everybody to watch, has him looking like he just, okay, fine, I'll just go ahead and, step in and take away the opportunity from Cody because I want to be in Mania. And then because a couple people are whining, I'll go ahead and change over and just give it back to him. But we'll do this so that way I can still be in the main event. And then he comes back. How are you the people's champion again? He hasn't shaken that yet. And my question to you is, because I know you're a longtime fan, can he come back as the people's champ, or is he going to have to be the final boss from now on? Exactly.
As I say this, I'm because the boss BJ had a really, really good way of thinking about this while this was going on. And I'm trying to see if he want to jump in because he would be able to answer it because I'm blinded by the light, literally and figuratively. Because when it comes to The Rock, he'll always be the people's champ. But this final boss thing, it kind of dragged out, but it didn't drag out. It didn't drag out the way that we thought it would.
Mm-hmm.
And what's fuck it, let's just say it. Look here, he can never go back to being the people's champ because the people's champ are for the people. The final boss was all about whooping Cody's ass. So, and here's a question to you: what nepotism got him in to this position? Explain that to me. You made that comment. I need that explained, please.
Well, I mean, he is in charge of the business.
Where's nepotism helped him to do that?
What he wants, that's what he got.
Where's nepotism come in to help him do that?
I'm just saying. It's Dwayne.
I'm just waiting for for when you haven't given me an example of nepotism yet. Because you said nepotism. Remember, he wanted to be a wrestler. Dad didn't want him to be a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
He said, okay, I'm going to train you. Then he started training him. Then he sent him to Pat Patterson. Pat Patterson trained him up. Nobody liked him when he started. He took a negative and turned it into a positive, and that strapped a rocket to his back, and he became the global force that he is or was.
Right.
And then what that turned into is the highest paid actor in Hollywood with some great movies. I don't care what nobody say. If you say that The Game Plan wasn't a great movie, I can't trust anything you got to say about movies.
What about Tooth Fairy? It was a good movie, though.
Decent. It was good. It was decent.
It was a good movie. It was a good movie.
But he can't. He's evolved. The people's champ. When you think of him as a fan favorite with the people's champ, you thinking him taking on Triple H, him taking on Stone Cold, him bashing Ken Shamrock upside the head with a chair. You know, you think of the WWF VHS tapes.
There you go.
Know your role. You know, I used to have all of his. I had all of his and all of Austin's. But here's the thing. Why would he want to go back to being the people's champ? This final boss thing has got so much traction, and controversy creates cash. You know, and that you talk about meme gate. They got him sitting there, and in the caption to be like, "Oh, I told Austin that Jake the Snake Roberts was quoting John 3:16 in the back. You should say something about that."
No, the funniest one was I told them to put Boom Shakalaka in NBA Jam.
What did he
I
actually
lost
say
it
in
on
that
that one. I lost it on that one.
What did he actually say for all of this to happen?
Well, that he decided to make the call for the main event to change. Now he did. See, the problem is Triple H explains it. Hey, the business was changing. I got a call from The Rock. You know, The Rock was like, hey, what if I turn heel? And Triple H was like, that may work. Let's go ahead and run with that and see how it works out. That sounds a lot more like, okay, we're listening to the fans. We're all involved. We're dialed in. Okay. Now, The Rock's documentary account is, yeah, I made a call, but I decided. I made the decision. You know, and that's where he was coming off at, was he was making a decision to step down from the main event. It wasn't because the people were demanding it in such a drove that it was a no-brainer. It was, well, you know, I just decided to I'll go ahead and do it. And that's where the contention is there was no humility in that.
But if telling the truth makes it that you don't have any humility, he made the call. See, I think that's being
now,
taken.
You sound like Bully Ray. I'll give it to you, because on Busted Open Radio, Bully Ray pretty much was saying the same thing. It was his decision, and he made the decision. And whereas David LaGreca was like, "Oh my God," I thought he was gonna blow a gasket. As frustrated and upset as he was on the counterpoint to that. But go ahead. I just wanted to point that out, that you just like, I got a flashback. So like, oh my God, is that Bully Ray?
Yeah. And here's the thing. I agree with it wholeheartedly, because if you look at it, when he says I made the call, everybody's like, oh, he was in charge. He actually picked up the phone. You know, people do that sometimes. They pick up the phone and they call people on the other line. You know, if you punch in 10 digits, you can call somebody. You can tell them what you're thinking. You know, you can talk in the end. You can say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. He made the call to say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. I think I should do this. Okay, let's do that. They agreed mutually, but he had to make the phone call. Why are we even? This is about bad as discussing the Washington Commanders wearing yellow pants in July. Why is this even a topic?
Exactly. The question is, are they going to win a daggone game? You know, what the depth chart looks like. But yeah, I agree. But again, we're talking about the internet. Obviously, we're living on it and vicariously through it. But social media is very convoluted, and not everything requires an opinion.
But
irony intended.
Let me say this.
That needs to be voiced.
I got to give credit to the boss BJ, because when this first started, he was like, I was feeling the whole Cody thing. He said when The Rock came in, it kind of took the spotlight a little bit. I don't think you should have it go that way. Now, for anybody listening, watching, whatever, the boss BJ is not super huge on wrestling. You know, he watches here and there, he keeps up with it, but he's not sitting down, you know, dissecting it the way that we can sometimes. But he looked at this, he said he loved the storyline, but the way The Rock went about it, he was like, I don't like it. But he wasn't the only one that said that. The mass consensus of fans, not smart marks, not casuals, the mass consensus of fans were saying, yeah, this doesn't work. It's kind of messing everything up, because it's kind of leaning towards Cody having to go against The Rock and Roman, and there's no way for him to get out. And everybody just wants to see Cody finish the story, Because now that you drag this on any longer, whether it's 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, the story's going to get stale. Nobody's going to give a damn anymore. The Rock, listen, one thing that WWE didn't do a lot of under Vincent Kennedy McMahon, they didn't listen to the people. Now, they may have stole from the people, and the people being the People's Choice Don Rodriguez, the aforementioned and on assignment Nubian Sumo, and as well as myself, the big guy KG.
That's right.
Our ideas have been stolen by WWE.
Pilfered. Tragedy.
And we have yet to receive any money. I need my money.
We need some coins, homie.
But they never listen to the fan base. They never listen to your diehards saying, hey, this is what we like. And it's like, soon as you like something, they would snatch it away. I.e., when a performer went from NXT to the main roster, whether it be SmackDown or Raw, they got a major overhaul from what made them hot, i.e., again, Keith Lee.
Whoop, whoop, Keith Lee.
You slowed that brother's career down to the point that he left the company.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been back on that road. I know he had a few health problems, but he hasn't been back on the road
since NXT. Yeah.
You slowed him down for what reason? That's what I want to know. What did you slow Keith Lee down for? All you had to do was say, hey, you won this belt on Sunday. You won these 2 belts on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
When you come in on Monday, you bring both belts with you. You have your announcement where you relinquish the belts. And then you start kicking ass the way you was in NXT. That's it. You didn't have to change anything.
There you go. And, there's no diminishment in his potential. Somebody showing up with 2 belts? Come on now.
But people getting bent out of shape because The Rock said, I made a call, but he literally made the call. How do you... I notice in this... we are in a cyber age, and news travels faster than wildfire. So a lot of people are influenced by what the masses are doing. So if you have a mass of people saying, well, The Rock taking credit for this, The Rock taking credit for that, well, I'm going to have a problem with it too, because everybody else got a problem with it. So I'm going to have a problem with it because The Rock just putting his big boot on everything, and I don't understand why he's doing this. And da-da-da-da-da. But did you actually hear the entire interview and say, damn, when he said he made the call, it wasn't that he took over to make the call. He picked up the phone and made the call. That's all it is. Why are we getting bent out of shape out of that?
Well, maybe they got PTSD because the last time The Rock in concept overrided a finish was Triple H versus Sting. And then we lost Sting and him going and retiring in the WWE to going and retiring in AEW. Had they have made the listen to the fans and made the right call and given us the main event that we needed and put Sting over, because there would have been no loss to Triple H. It wouldn't have mattered. It wasn't a championship match. Put Sting over, we would have had something.
What's going on, Rob?
What up, Rob?
Glad you could be here. Here's the thing.
But then also, hold on. The other part of that is the PTSD is who is asking for The Rock to show up. Everybody knew at that point that the intended WrestleMania match was Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns to finish the story. Yes. When The Rock showed up, and the way they did it was, I'm going to go ahead and do this main event thing. I don't know about you, but you're out. That also was the bad rub. And then now you got on the other side of this documentary, The Rock is talking about, I made a phone call to make the change back. Why were you there when the expected Mania match was Roman versus Cody finishing the story? That's what the fans wanted.
Here's the thing. I got to disagree with you. Shocker. But
that's it. You're out.
If you think about it, what have we been calling for during this whole run of Roman Reigns in the bloodline? Only person that can defeat Roman Reigns, I remember that coming from your mouth.
Yeah.
Is The Rock.
Until we got Cody.
Yeah. But you had to, I didn't see a reason why we didn't get both. Because I didn't have a problem with The Rock coming back.
Well, The Rock came back too late. Had he have really listened to the fans,
he would have been back years
would have been gone for so long after we supported him with Haku Machete.
Well, I mean,
if you want to listen to the fans, don't get me started. Don't get me started. If I ever get to talk to that young gentleman named Dwayne Johnson, I'm gonna make sure he understands. I saw that movie a couple times in theaters. I supported you, sucker, thinking that you would go off, make a couple more movies and come back. Not Haku Machete and you gone.
But he did go off and make a couple more movies and came back.
No, he was gone for years.
No. He made
gone.
He made The Mummy Returns with his 7 minutes on camera.
No, it was Scorpion King.
Yeah, that was after Mummy Returns, Scorpion King.
Yeah.
But no, before Scorpion King, he had the one with Stifler. Rundown. Where he got the shit beat out of him in that one.
Yeah, I mean, and then he was at the other one, I forgot, the Roadhouse kind of one. That was quite a few. He had some movies out there. That wasn't the problem. The problem was nobody gave him permission to not come back for years.
But he made great movies. And the movie,
nobody told him to leave for a while. We gave him permission to go out there and be in the theaters and do something different. Nobody said take The Rock and disappear.
But that's just it. They didn't know his career was going to take off like that. If you think about it, if you go through his whole entire filmography.
Come on now, we knew.
Well,
Ready to Rumble did pretty well in theaters because we as wrestling fans went to see it. Don't get that mess twisted. They knew the power of us.
Ready to Rumble was
how many daggone Marines are there?
Because of the Marine? But
because
it's like
us.
It's like 7 to 8 Marines, and only the first 2 are good.
Research how high See No Evil ranked in the box office. Oh, we showed up for Kane. We showed up. So they knew the power of us. They preyed on the power of us. Every chance they got, they promoted the Scorpion King and everything else. Come on now.
Hold on.
But nobody told him to be gone for so long and then just want to pop back in. However, John Cena's not mad at it because we wouldn't have John Cena if The Rock hadn't left. I understand that too. And a lot of other things. But
let me get the
we're talking about Dwayne.
He said we can still get The Rock versus Roman next year. Yeah, we can. That's it. You know, that's if Roman comes back. You pick this feud back up.
That's if The Rock comes back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Walking Tall was another good one. But listen to this. This is why he was away for years. Now, this is starting in 2001. You have The Mummy Returns. You know, he was CGI most of that. He went and made that. Then he had The Scorpion King, The Rundown, Walking Tall, Be Cool, Doom, Gridiron Gang, Southland Tales, The Game Plan, which we talked about before, Get Smart, Race to Witch Mountain, Planet 51, Tooth Fairy, The Other Guys, Fast 5, Journey 2, Mysterious Island, Snitch, G.I. Joe Retaliation, Pain and Gain, Fast 6, Empire State, Hercules. Hercules didn't do too well, did it?
No. The Race to Witch Mountain was an underrated movie. That was a hell of a good movie.
I got to go check out Hercules.
So was San Andreas too, even though I was mad at the title.
You said so was what?
San Andreas.
Yes. San Andreas is really good. And that was after Fast 7. Central Intelligence, Moana, and he's getting ready to come back from Moana 2.
Hey, those are protected movies. Don't you talk bad about that, Moana.
Oh, Moana was great.
Don't you talk bad about Maui.
The Fate of the Furious.
I ain't seen it.
And here we go. This is where the bad movie comes in. Baywatch.
Who watches Baywatch for The Rock? Just saying. Just saying. That's
you can't
that's
make
what
a
he should have
Baywatch
known.
movie without David Hasselhoff.
Well, technically, I did in the beginning watch Baywatch for David Hasselhoff because I was trying to support Knight Rider. But after the first episode, it's like, what's Hasselhoff doing here? Let's go back to Yasmin Bleeth.
Yeah,
let's go to Pam. You know, that was some characters on there. I just want to say that. Wasn't Pamela Anderson's character CJ? Wasn't it CJ?
I think so.
Yeah, that was original CJ right there. Speaking of CJs, Lana is a free agent. And we need to fact check to see if she's dating Swerve. It's starting to kind of look that way.
Mm.
And she's over there getting that skirt.
No comment. Then you got after Baywatch, he came back with Jumanji, Rampage, Skyscraper.
Rampage wasn't that bad. Skyscraper was the same thing to me as San Andreas.
He made an appearance in Shazam. Then you had Hobbs and Shaw. Then
at the Black Adam,
yeah, Jungle Cruise.
Jungle Cruise was good.
Red Notice,
that was good.
Black Adam. I need to watch Black Adam. Everybody said Black Adam was bad. I want to see it.
That was a good movie, actually.
Because I had waited for a couple of years.
They say it's bad because they crapped on it at the end, thanks to this, James Gunn situation, and he taking over DC and then just destroyed it all. But that's also typical DC movies. Let's start over the start over of the start over. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've been told Batman stories so much, I'm ready to kill his parents at this point just to get past it. I'm serious. How many times are we going to go over this?
Well, I mean, multiverse. That's what everything's doing, multiverse now.
They can multiverse all day long. But
Ryan said, don't forget about the series Ballers. That's another one.
Yeah. But either way, hey, y'all, you may have named a lot, but he could have showed up at WrestleMania.
Oh my God. The dude was filming
he just been there.
To back. Then he had TV shows.
He could have showed up at the Royal Rumble. He could have just been there. He just left us. Okay. He left me.
Don't forget.
He went out and he just, hey, I'm going to get me some milk. And he dipped. And I ain't got no milk for my Captain Crunch yet. That's all I'm saying. He left.
Don't forget.
It's a bullshit.
And whoever said that the Young Rock was a bad TV show, I would love to hang my boot in your ass because I actually enjoyed Young Rock.
I never watched it just because I want to protect the kayfabe. Some stuff I don't want behind the scenes on everything.
It wasn't behind the scenes. It was just talking about how he grew up.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want to. It's like, okay, to me, that all of that stuff is the equivalent of how many times are we going to do a documentary about the end of WCW? What perspective is there that you can still talk about that hasn't been talked about since the rise and fall WWE video, by the way, of WCW? There's nothing else to tell. Eric Bischoff has a podcast on it.
Yeah.
Kevin Nash has a podcast, talked about it. Hulk Hogan's talked about it. Jimmy Hart's talked about it. WWE made a video about it. A&E did a first thing about it. WWE Network did a thing about it. They did an extra special about it. Paul Heyman's talked about it. I mean, we've talked about the rise and fall of WCW so much. I'm ready to go ahead and hit Goldberg with a cattle prod.
Look, the show started off at 3 different stages. You had him as a kid, a teenager, and then, young adulthood. And the 3 actors that played him in those 3 stages did very, very good jobs.
That's what I heard.
Here's the thing. You also got an insight of the relationship with his mom, the relationship with his dad, the relationship with his grandmother. And then everybody that was in and out during those times. Because that's why when I would watch it, the first thing I would do is hit the Nubian Sumo. Hey, they said this, and this happened. Did it happen like that? And he'd be like, no, they taking a little liberties with it. Because Jim Cornette was really mad about it.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Cornette but I'm like, it's TV.
But he's a historian.
Yeah. But now it's TV, And when you're dealing with TV, you know what happens? Things get construed, and you have to make things sensationalized for TV.
Right.
It's not going to be peaches and cream for everything. But the show was really, really good. And I'm like, okay, he went away, he did this, but he also included Vince, he included Shane, Stephanie, Iron Sheik, the Head Shrinkers, Macho Man Randy Savage. You had all these different people that came into his life that he was thankful for. Pat Patterson, you know, him and Brian Christopher being best friends as kids. And then, you know, being really, really close. Him and Jerry Lawler. And how, you know, when his dad was working for Jerry Lawler, he set up the ring with Brian Christopher. These are things that I didn't know. But it showed a little bit more of the upbringing of the one Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, a.k.a. Dewey. And, you know, it was great. You know, I didn't like the simple fact that they didn't get into what Ron Simmons really meant to The Rock and the development of The Rock. That whole persona and that character. You know, that whole run with the Nation. They didn't really get into that because it got canceled.
Well, at least out of it, excuse me, out of everything in there, Ron Simmons could have played Ron Simmons.
Yeah.
Like, you do not get a stunt double or another person, another actor to play Ron Simmons. You can't get that intensity anywhere other than Ron Simmons. But still, at the end of the day, he left. Also, part of my point is, why the hell did we need this daggone documentary that totally took a dump on kayfabe? Like, it's one thing to have a behind the scenes and you see, you know, the emotions and like it used to be of people behind the scenes, you know, at Gorilla or other superstars talking about how excited they were for the match. I'm with that. But when we start getting into, we're not even peeling back curtains. We're peeling back, you know, ceiling tiles and everything else, just exposing the ring like the Nexus did, to just say, hey, this is what really happened. We just felt y'all should know. Why the hell are we telling that story? That's not what we wanted to know. Let's have an interview with his mom and how she felt about him winning the championship. How she felt about the previous Mania where he didn't win the championship. I want to hear that. I want Dustin in on it. That's the stuff that I would want in the documentary that they could make happen. I don't need them just destroying kayfabe for all the little kids. And then, you know, I remember how we used to defend it. Wrestling's fake. No, it ain't. No, it ain't. Wrestling's fake. Well, yeah, you're right. It is, you know, scripted, televised TV that loosely is a sport kind of sort of. Yeah, you're right on that. You know, because they're portraying it as that. I
remember a certain somebody that used to, you know, people like, man, you know, wrestling fake, right? Come in, let me show you this little move right here. And I learned that from that certain somebody. And when people would say that at certain jobs I was at, come in, let me put you in a sharpshooter and tell me if it hurt. Let me put you in a figure 4 leg lock and tell me if it hurt. Let's see if it's fake. Come on.
I wonder who that person probably was. You know, a nice, strong-willed, awesome gentleman who walked around with packages that required 2 hands. You know.
Well, I don't know about all that. See, I was trying to put you over. You said that. I don't know about all that.
Deliveries. Just making deliveries. That's all we got to say about that. Making deliveries.
I bet.
Speaking of deliveries, just want to put that reminder out there that tonight's episode is brought to you by Tuesday Night Flight. As much as I wanted to start singing it, but once you start with the airplane mode theme song, you got to go into it. So that's why we are repping the intro all show long, promoting Tuesday Night Flight, reminding you to come join the big guy KG and his counterpart, the Midnight Rider. Had to build them up for it right there, where they talk about all the craziness that's going on in the wonderful world of sports as part of the Sideline Junkies podcast network. So we are actively supporting our own and just thinking about airplane mode when you join the Tuesday night flight. So make sure you check us out all week long, every week.
Raj says the Cobra Clutch. Yes,
Oh,
most
yeah.
definitely. Put some,
many times.
Tell me if it's fake. I'm putting the Cobra Clutch. Tell me it's fake.
Yep. Got to be mindful of the sleeper, though. A couple times, like, oh, this fool may be going out. Let me stop.
I learned how to properly apply a sleeper hold by watching wrestling. Because I was a $1 million dream guy.
Oh, yeah.
So, you get that locked in and it's $1 million dream and it's just, oh, yeah, you keep moving. I'm just going to lock it in even more.
Mm-hmm.
You tell me, people say wrestling's fake. We used to have a master lock challenge.
Yep. Now, that was something, any hood could do. Like, oh, yeah, come on, go and break it. But technically, they stole that from us. That was a prison thing. They stole that from us. Come on now. That was a prison thing. Man. At the end of the day, it's going to be interesting to see if The Rock can come back or will end up being The Rock. And the reason why I brought this up for this week's show is this ties into John Cena retiring, because John Cena going out on his own terms. A lot of folks are asking for heel Cena. It doesn't really matter. We're just going to get John Cena heavy. But The Rock has never officially retired. So I think it will be important for him to come back and be able to retire and finally say, okay, I'm done. And then we have no expectation, hopes, wants, dreams. We know that it's done. And that's why it'd be interesting to see if he can come back and still be the fan favorite, or if the fans just won't forget, because that Cody movement was organic and it hasn't gone away. It's still an open wound, and they've got to manage that properly so that way it doesn't become a calcified scab that you can't break through without, really causing some trouble. And causing some trouble means he beats Cody for the championship and becomes champion and then retires the Monday after that WrestleMania. And people would lose their minds on that.
Here's a question.
Mm-hmm.
The Rock's not in the Hall of Fame either, is he?
No.
He's not in the Hall. I think him and Stone Cold are going on the same night.
Stone Cold's in.
Stone Cold is in?
Yeah, Stone Cold's been in.
When did Stone Cold go in the Hall of Fame? How did I miss that? Nobody told me nothing.
Several years ago.
You sure?
Yeah. He'd be having his ring on. He's a certified Hall of Famer.
Nobody told me nothing. Why I don't remember that?
I don't know. You old. I can't help you with that one, bro.
Younger than you.
Yeah. We both younger than James. That dinosaur. But either way, let's go ahead and switch off to something that is rather, close to my heart, or maybe my wife's heart, because that's her boyfriend. She's cheating on me with Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF. Are you happy that he's heel again? True heel, OG MJF?
There's no other way to have him.
I agree. Now, I think DeSumo will probably have something different to say about it. Who knows? But I'm happy with the fact that MJF has gone back to it. It does nerf Adam Cole and makes that whole scenario pointless. But MJF being MJF, the guy we love to hate, the true villain, the heel of the heel, that's what I want. Is it going to save AEW, though? That's the question I want to ask you. Is that going to help out and get them where they need to be?
Are you going? Oh, shoot. Even Ross, I just looked it up. I'm glad y'all said that. Yes, he's already in 2009. I don't remember. Why don't I remember that?
I don't know where you were. Were we streaming in?
No.
See, that's why you don't remember, because we weren't around to talk about it.
Damn.
But they did a documentary about that WrestleMania, I can tell you that much, and showed the behind the scenes of him and Vince sharing a moment.
Okay. Now I gotta go find that and look that up because I missed that. Okay. MJF as a heel. This is gonna be. Here's a question: are you bringing Jericho back as well? Because him and Jericho, I don't think we got the full ramifications exploration of that feud.
No.
So
well, if we're going to talk about Jericho, is it time for Chris? Is it time?
One more run. He still got it.
Okay.
But here's the thing. And you say, will it give AEW what it needs? Like a shot in the arm? Yes. But it's an adrenaline shot. I don't think it revives the patient to the point where you can take them off life support. Because AEW is kind of sort of on life support.
Well, that ties into the final topic, because if MJF is heel, is AEW back on the rise? Now, you scoffed at on the TV show where we were going through the ESPN top women for their poll, and they had Toni Storm at number 2, timeless Toni Storm. I agree with that assessment and think that character is one of the best in sports entertainment right now, and that storyline was phenomenal and is phenomenal. And that partner with MJF, heel MJF, partner with Britt Baker coming back and actually, promoting against Mercedes Moné, Will Ospreay and Swerve going one-on-one, Swerve and Bryan Danielson going one-on-one. Hi, Kevin. Shut up. What kind of shit is this? See, get this guy off the boards. He can put himself over in the message. Can't. I'm too much. Too much with you. Where's Sumo at? We need a buffer. But, they're starting to have some compelling storylines that could put them back in the interest map. But they're losing it still, in my opinion, because NXT is killing.
Of course.
SmackDown is on fire.
And Raw.
Rhea's back on Raw. That's that. Talk about, was it the triangle in Virginia? Was it the 3 parts of Virginia? Was it Williamsburg and the other one? What they call it, the triangle? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
All right, whatever. I know you DM'd me. But they call it the triangle down there. It's I think it's Woodbridge, Williamsburg, and one other area of Virginia. Or it could be Virginia Beach or something like that, but they call it the triangle. But either way, that triangle of Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, yeah.
It's on fire.
Juggernaut. That's a juggernaut to beat right now. And we got Joe Hendry, I believe.
Put it this way. Xavier popped so hard when Rhea came back on Monday. Now, here's the thing. When Liv jumped into Dom's arms and he fell down and he was looking to her, I said, Rhea about to come back. I didn't think she was coming back that night. I was like, Rhea gonna come back and kick her ass.
I thought we was about to get a shot on OnlyFans.
Huh?
I thought we was about to get a shot on OnlyFans. Like, hold up.
Hey.
Somebody got a hall pass.
Hey. But when she showed up, boom. Mommy's back. And it's like, let's get it. Let's rock. It was great. Then you come to Friday night. How do you top what happened Monday when you come to Friday? You get a little BBL Bailey and Nia Jax. Oh my God, Nia Jax had a hand in creating the man gimmick for Becky Lynch, which put a
big hand.
Yes, it strapped a rocket to her back, shot her off into the stratosphere. Because I said it once, somebody tried to argue me down. Oh, Becky Lynch? No. Becky Lynch was there. She was on her way, but it was a slow ascent. When that happened and she no-sold it after she got her nose broke, and then everything that followed after that, the hatred that everybody had for Nia Jax pushed Becky Lynch further.
Oh, yeah, we told her. Becky should have sent Nia a Christmas card, a candygram like they did in elementary school and high school, all that stuff. Every year that she was doing the man gimmick. Thank you very much.
That's it, and that's all. But and then NXT, what was that? Sunday was their pay-per-view, and I was shocked that Trick Williams lost the championship.
Yeah.
But didn't AEW have a championship? I'm sorry, didn't they have a pay-per-view over the weekend too? Sunday night?
They did.
Nobody talked about it.
True. It wasn't horrible, but the problem with their pay-per-views, anybody got time for 6 hours?
No. If you don't put it up against something else, one thing I noticed that WCW and WWF at the time didn't do, they may have went back-to-back on pay-per-views, but They never went head-to-head. You never go head-to-head with somebody else's pay-per-view. Like, if it's All In, I'm not going to put All In up against WrestleMania.
Yeah, you can't.
Now, if I'm WWE, I'm not going to put Fastlane up against All In because nobody's going to watch Fastlane. Everybody's going to watch All In.
Well, no, WWE is cocky. They're going to put it up against whatever the hell they feel like.
And the thing is, you're not even going to get the numbers because every All In that they've had has been dynamic, great.
But see,
every Fastlane they've had has not.
True, but if they at this build is getting back to OG NXT, think about that.
Okay.
If they put OG NXT quality matches as a PLE, All In is done. Because they would put that on the same weekend. NXT on Saturday, All In on Sunday. Trust me, you're emotionally drained by the end of that NXT pay-per-view.
Okay.
Bang. We're getting there. We're almost there. The shows are getting there to where it's like Monday, must see. Tuesday for NXT, must see. TNA is creeping up to feed in Wednesday. WWE on Friday. And then you're done.
Yeah.
AEW is kind of like an elective on Wednesday. Maybe an elective on Saturday night for Collision. It wasn't Rampage on Friday or something like that. I don't know. Rampage is starting to become the Ring of Honor. It's like, when the hell is it on? Type of situation. Because, Dynamite is still the show. Speaking of which, at the end of the month, the People's Choice Don Rodriguez will be getting the true AEW experience for the first time on July 31st and going to check out AEW. So I'll be giving you some firsthand insight as to the attendance, as well as the setup, and how long the daggone show took, and everything else in between. So be on the lookout for the beginning of August show that we'll be talking about live reactions from AEW Dynamite.
Well, this last topic, let me say this and then I'll jump off of it.
Mm-hmm.
If AEW is back on the rise, it's got to be about ratings. And I'm sorry, it's got to be about writers, because I don't care about ratings. You have to write something that's compelling and it's going to hold everybody's attention. You can't give them crumbs and they follow the crumbs, we never get to the big prize. Because that's what AEW has been doing to us for a few years. We never get to the big prize. I don't like that at all.
True.
They fix that, they can be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with WWE, but you have to have the storylines. You also have to use the talent that you have. You sign all these people and you never use them. You're just sitting there paying them. And I wonder, do they even travel? Because you're just paying them. Are you paying them to sit at home? What are you doing?
I'm with you.
And I agree with Raj. AEW writing is ass backwards. It is.
Well, that's because there's no writing. It's Tony Khan, quote unquote, fantasy booking or long-term booking.
No.
Depending on how you look at it.
You can't.
And then, okay, this is what's happening on this show, but where are we getting the build? Now, they have incorporated a former WWE writer, and they're getting some more top-tier talent from Hollywood to help them to be able to curate things. We're starting to see that with Mercedes Moné's promos, but it's still going to come down to beginning, middle, and end. OG English literature 101. Beginning, middle, and end.
You got a guy in-house already that can take you to the next level.
Don't you even start that. I don't even want to get mad. I'm starting to come down off the Haku Machente rant, and now you want to get me on a rant of how many people have been in AEW that was and is the learning tree to sit under when it comes down to booking the longest reigning televised episodic show in history.
If I'm not mistaken,
and we didn't use any information from them.
What wasn't good old JR head of talent relations for years of WWE, and he had a hand in writing a lot of
talent relations, creative. He was everywhere.
How are you not talking to him? How are you not calling?
You about to get me there. I'm about to get mad again.
How are you not calling Jim Cornette and just having a conversation? Hey, what if you this storyline right here? I don't remember how it fleshed out back in the day. Talk to me about it. And you can sit there and just talk to him for a couple of hours, and I guarantee you got 7 storylines that's gonna give you 6 months worth of work.
Mm-hmm.
You put him on as a consultant. That's that.
Bischoff.
You have Arn Anderson. You have
Arn Anderson. Had him. Tully Blanchard had him. James J. Dillon had him. Arn Anderson had him. Dustin Rhodes have him. Cody had him. The list. Who else? There's enough.
Rod says, I don't understand Swerve versus Brian.
No.
It should have been Hangman.
No, Rod. I'm so sick of Swerve versus Hangman. We have done that to death. I do not want to see them two at all together. Because at this point, the way that they're doing Swerve, Hangman is a super step down. Bryan Danielson is a step up coming from Will Ospreay. You get Bryan Danielson and you beat Bryan Danielson. Okay, you're the champion. You're showing what you can do. If you go backwards, you beat Swerve again. I'm sorry, you beat Hangman again. Hangman didn't change his spots. Swerve needs to go Bryan Danielson and then Christian. He needs to lose, in my opinion, to Christian. And then he can chase Christian. He loses by hook and crook to Christian, thanks to Luchasaurus. And then he's got to chase back, and we've got something to build with that with. But the promos will put him back on top and show what he can do. It'll get him in the right spot. Because if MJF gets his hand on that belt, or you put MJF against Swerve, Swerve is going to get overshadowed. But MJF has to get his hands back on that belt. But you got to put some space in between it. And that's what I would do. And Christian needs his hands on that belt. They said they have the potential at the moment. It's peaking. Yeah, but Bryan Danielson, he's ready to tap too. It's his time. He knows it. He's just trying to, hang on and be the company guy. I expect Bryan Danielson to tap very soon, by the end of the year, and go from there. We'll see. But it's also AEW, so anything can happen. However, if we're wrapping it up, KG, any final words? And don't you talk about anything that's going to get me on a rant. I'm trying to cool it down.
I'm not even going to put you out there, but final words. Yeah. I gotta say, rest in peace to Dr. Ruth and Richard Simmons. Both
Yes.
passed away in the last 12 hours. Parts of our childhood. I will say that.
And Dr. Ruth exposed us to some stuff we weren't even thinking about.
Her call-in show, her and Joyce Brothers.
Yes,
call-in
Dr.
shows.
Joyce Brothers. Lord knows, man.
Yeah, I was up late nights watching that. And then Dr. Ruth, it was his catalog that my godmother used to get. And they had a part in the catalog that wasn't for kids.
Woo!
And it had a lot of Dr. Ruth stuff in there. That's how I was familiar with her from the time I was about 10.
Mm-hmm. She's breaking it down, and that voice. If you must do this. And then Richard Simmons, man.
Sweating to the oldies.
I'm gonna tell you this right now, and I don't mean any disrespect to anybody, but I made the comment, and it's just honest. There's a lot of upper in age, heavier set colonists that are mad right now. Like, no, come on now. You see that commercial come on, Sweating to the Oldies with Richard Simmons. He got some new songs on there. Come on, I watched it. I'm not gonna lie. Because I'm like, you go, Richard. Man, from the I thought he was black. I mean, he had his black card. Let's just be honest. From the fro, Richard Simmons come out there doing his thing. Like, yo, he could walk into the hood and be like, yo, Richard cool, man. Richard cool. See him on the corner of Crenshaw out there in LA, just chilling. Like, what you doing out there? He just cool, man. Richard Simmons cool, man. Leave him alone. Yeah. You one of us.
That's it.
So yeah, that's a huge loss, man. That's, to me, Richard Simmons is on the level of losing Robin Williams, man. That's how impactful, and much I've seen Richard Simmons throughout my lifetime. Close second to Richard Simmons would be Sally Struthers. Because, man, I want to donate to every daggone kids thing as a kid. Like, God daggone, Sally, I'm broke and you make me want to give out some coins. I just found this 25 cent that I'm trying to get a snowball with, and you got a freaking nerve to tell me to help the kids out there, even though you look pretty clean out there, Sally, and these kids dirty on this video. But that's a whole nother story. Give them a sandwich or something. God dang. Don't get me off on a tangent on that. All right, one more tangent, because it's the new Sally Struthers, and it's starting to get on my nerves, and I'm just going to say it because it's, an election year. But I know Republicans and Democrats are generally not going to agree on anything because it's all a power trip. One side wants control, the other side's going to hate on them. The other side gets control, the other side's going to hate on them. But can y'all just solve one issue? Just help the kids out in the childhood cancer. You can cure cancer for kids. That's all I'm saying. Just as Michael Jackson would say, save the children. Save them. Save the children. That's all you got to do. One We Are the World remix. What? I was going to say Puffy, but can't do that one.
Nope, can't do that.
I guess DJ Khaled could remix that. All the rappers get together and do a We Are the World cipher or something.
Another one.
Yep. We the best to ever do it. Oh, man. I can only imagine when we get down to the skirts and all that stuff. Like that whole lyrical line right there. Like, what the hell just happened? We are the skirt. Don't get me started. Oh, man. Got that going. Dionne Warwick rolling over in her grave. Like, what kind of shit is this?
Dionne Warwick's still alive.
Is she?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I'm dead sure. I'm positive. I follow her on Twitter.
Wait, what the hell is Dionne Warwick doing on Twitter? What can Dionne Warwick tweet about?
Man, that's the clapback queen.
Really?
Yes.
I'm gonna have to get on that then. I thought she was dead.
Man, Dionne Warwick. That the song that was trending. It was about a couple months ago. The surprise.
Yeah.
Surprise. Dionne Warwick clapped back at the lady that sings that. She was like, yeah, because every song I put out in America, she was doing it over in the UK. If I coughed on the track, she would cough on the track.
Dang.
She was like, yeah, she stole my whole flow. Drake?
I'm gonna have to start following Dionne Warwick. I could have swore she was dead. God dang.
No. Dionne is alive and well. She was talking about if they made a movie of her life, she wants Tiana Taylor to play her.
Come again, say what?
She said it herself. If they ever do a movie of her life, she wants Tiana Taylor to play her. Because they showed a picture of her when she was younger and a picture of Tiana Taylor.
No.
No, it works. It works.
No.
It works.
The face, but I'm sorry, Dionne, and come on now. She gonna have to wear some baggy clothes or something.
Let me tell you something.
I've never looked at Dionne Warwick in that way.
Let me tell you something. I've seen
some old pictures.
I've seen some old pics.
But
Dionne Warwick.
And
Dionne Warwick was a stunner.
Oh, she's beautiful.
No, I'm talking about head to toe. She was a stunner. Speaking of stunners in the 60s, I sent this picture to BJ a couple weeks ago.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are officially off the rails. Thank you.
Yeah, we are.
Brought to you by the Tuesday Night Flight. Take this journey that we're going on.
I'm gonna be quick about it because I gotta get out of here. But I sent BJ a picture of Florence Ballard, and he said, "Yeah." They said that's natural beauty. I said, "Florence Ballard. If you look at the Supremes, I'm sorry, Florence Ballard was head and shoulders above everybody else."
Yep, I agree with that.
I mean, granted, Diana became the star, but Mary Wilson wasn't no slouch neither.
But back in the day, oh yeah, it was the truth. The truth, man. So yeah, we could table that for another day because somehow we'll segue into Motown and all that stuff and really bring it in there. But how that effect was on. Can you imagine? See, we off the rails. We got to end this. Can you imagine if they would have gotten James Brown as somebody's manager and he cut the promo?
Oh, yeah.
Come on, hey, like,
Trick
what the hell did he just say?
What Trick Williams gonna do? Trick Williams gonna. Speaking of which, he was Ernest the Cat Miller. He loved Ernest the Cat Miller. Yep.
Because the cat, he didn't rip him off.
Nope.
But he did his thing and asked permission to be able to, incorporate some of what he did into it. And we saw with Michael Jackson and others that, used some of the movements and the flow and the cadence, Morris Day, stuff like that, that James Brown was like, hey, I don't mind, but I do my thing. Because ain't nobody going to do it better than James Brown. Period. Consummate showman. Even down to Jamie Foxx. And rest in peace, Wakanda Forever. When we did the documentary, Chadwick Boseman. Yeah, so man.
That ain't no mashed potatoes. Really good movie, underrated.
So since it's Shark Week, we're wrapping things up. As a reminder, if you are out in the ocean at any time during this hot summer-filled days and you see a shark, don't panic. If you have the capability and you're calm, when a shark approaches you, flip it over. Tantric immobility will save your life. The shark will not attack. It will go to sleep if it's flipped upside down. Food for thought for Shark Week.
Oh, okay.
Not wishing that a shark is going to roll up on you, but if it does, flip it or die.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Saturday Night Wrestlemaniacs. Thank you for hanging out with us. As I said, we are brought to you this week by the Tuesday Night Flight, and you've been seeing it all day in video, but now it's time to go ahead and experience some airplane mode. Peace. You still gotta think about me. Want someone to hold. You can put me on airplane.